Hey, hey! So, here it is, guys. Avacyn Restored. Went to a midnight pre-release. I had fun. I came in dead last. I came in dead mother-eating last. Out of like 30 people, I came in dead last. That didn't please me. That did not please me. I don't know. Let's go over what I did play, okay? Go for it. And there's some fun stuff in this set. There really is. I got a Nephalia Smuggler. He's really nice. He's a 1/1 for 1. His activated ability is a little bit on the expensive side compared to his mana cost. It's 3 colors and a blue. Tap him, exile another creature you control, put it back into play. I would have been happier if he was like a colorless and a blue with like a 2 colors and a blue activation cost. I think that would have been better. But it is what it is. You know, I would gladly have paid a little bit more mana for a cheaper activation cost on him. Oh well. Mistraven, a 2/2 flyer. When it hits the board, return target creature to owner's hand. That's pretty nice. Eldog Shieldmate, 2/3 Soulbond. As long as it's paired with another creature, they both have hexproof. The Soulbond thing, I really need to double check the FAQ on that, because I want to double check how it works, because I saw some people using it like, yeah, whenever a creature hits the board, you can Soulbond. You can have a creature that's already in play, that's already Soulbonded. You could have a creature with Soulbond that's already in play and already Soulbonded, drop its old Soulbond and bond to the new creature. And I don't know if that's technically correct or not. I have to look that up. I'm not 100% certain, because the reminder text on it implies that you can't do that. When you may pair this creature with another unpaired creature, when blah 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 blah. It says with another unpaired creature. That kind of implies that the creature with Soulbond has to not be paired in the first place, you know? Implies it. I don't know, I'll have to check the FAQ. Frequently asked questions. Oh well. 2 Spectral Prisons, it's actually slightly better than Ice Cage. Ice Cage says targeted by spell or ability. That's just straight up spell. Yeah, that's kind of nice. Ghostly Flicker, it's interesting. 2 and a blue, instant, exile 2 target artifact creatures and or lands you control. Return them to battlefield under your control. That's really interesting. I'm not sure what I mean, that can be really cool. Unfortunately, that really never came up as being cool. Scrapskin Drake. It's a 2/3 flyer for 2 and a blue. May only block creatures with flying. A restriction that's sometimes referred to as high flying. That is a flyer that can only block other flyers. All well and good. Dangerous Wager. Colorless and a red for an instant. Discard your hand. Draw 2. That's not a bad card, really. Especially if, you know, the Wager's the only card left in your hand. You know, you play it, you dump whatever's left in your hand, and you draw 2. That can also be a nice enabler card for Reanimator decks. So yeah, I mean that's got potential. Hanweir Lancer, a 2/2 Soulbonder that grants first strike. Kessig Malcontents, a 3/1, hits the board, deals damage to target player equal to the number of humans you control. Thunderbolt. Colorless and a red, instant, 3 to target player or 4 to target creature with flying. That's a reprint, folks. Reaching all the way back to the days of Weatherlight. That was a long time ago. I mean, a long time ago. We're talking about, like, what, 96? 97? Somewhere around then? I mean, that's an old card. That's a really old card. It's nice to see it in print again, though. Archwing Dragon! Shabam! 2 colors, double red, 4/4 flying haste. At the end step, return them to your at the beginning of the end step, return them to your hand. It's kind of nice. It's nice. It reminds me of the old Viashino Sandstalker, which was a 4/2 haste for a colorless and double red, with pretty much the same ability of returning itself to your hand at the end of the turn. It's kind of funky. It's funky. I kind of like it. The fact that he's flying really is what makes him really playable. The bounce himself to your hand clause makes him immune to sorcery speed removal or to enchantment lockdowns, or at least most enchantment-based lockdowns. So, for example, your opponent can't put like a pacifism on it, or a burden of faith, or whatever. You know, it's nice. Rush of Blood. That's a cute little card. It's a 2 and a red instant. Target creature gets +X/+O, where X is its power. That's the potential for nastiness. I was also running white. Yeah, I ran 3 colors. Cloud Shift, single white for an instant. Exile a creature you control, then bring it right back. Some people don't understand that mechanic. The exile and bring it back mechanic. A lot of people don't really understand that. Basically what that does is if it had an enchantment on it, the enchantments all drop off. So for example, if your opponent had a Pacifism, Burden of Guild, Chant of the Skifang, whatever, on your creature, you flash your creature out, it comes back without the enchantment. Enchantment goes bye-bye. It's nice. It also, of course, diverts the creature from removal. What that will do is, it's like if I go to, like, you know, I'm hitting your creature with a removal spell, get rid of it, and you go, I Cloud Shift, my creature flashes out, flashes back in, your removal spell loses track of it. Because the game, unless something specifically says otherwise, the game does not track a card once it changes zones. So, for example, if a card goes from the battlefield to your hand, or to your graveyard, or to exile, or whatever, the game stops tracking it as the same as it being the same object. It's no longer, say, it's no longer Fred the Mist Raven, it's now Ralph the Mist Raven. You know? So, for example, if I Cloud Shift a Mist Raven, goes exiles, comes back onto the battlefield. Oh, look, it's enters the battlefield ability, kicks back in. Which is why this guy is so nice. Exile creature, bring it back. It's like, yeah, I'm bouncing your stuff. Kid size, fun stuff. That's also useful for resetting soul bonds. Yay. Pair of Righteous Blows, white instant, 2 to target attacking or blocking creature. It's kind of interesting. White's not particularly good, well known for direct damage, but in this case, it's like, yeah, it's always, whenever white does direct damage, it's with a 2 target attacking or blocking creature caveat, or almost always. Seraph of Dawn, 2 and double white for a 2/4 flying lifelink. That's actually surprisingly solid, especially for a common. Defang, it's colorless and a white for enchantment, and prevent all damage that would be dealt by enchanted creature. It's pretty nice, I like it. It's funky. It's also, just looking at the illustration, the flavor text, it's like, you know, that's the first time I've ever felt sorry for a vampire, you know. Okay, maybe not the first time. There was, of course, the old novel, Vampire of the Mist. I believe it was by a lady by the name of Christie Golden, if I recall correctly. It was a really old novel designed to be a tie-in to the old Dungeons & Dragons Ravenloft setting, of all things. But that's neither here nor there, right? Yeah. We got a Near Heath Pilgrim. It's a 2/1 for colors and a white, soul bonds for lifelink. Kind of nice. Angelic Wall. Angelic Wall was not originally in this deck. At first I had a Thatcher Revolt in it. I pulled the Thatcher Revolt for the Angelic Wall after the first round. Actually after the first game, because the Thatcher Revolt, I didn't realize you lose the creatures after at the end of the turn, you know? Oh well. 2 Vessels of Endless Rest. It's 3 colorless, taps for an artifact, taps for 1 mana of any color, and when it hits the board, you take a card from your grave. Is it your graveyard? Enters battlefield. Put target card from a graveyard on bottom of owner's library. That's nice. That's pretty nice, actually. It's a nice way to get cards from your graveyard back into the library. Granted, putting it on the bottom usually isn't a big deal, but I can easily see that in like EDH or Commander, whatever you want to call it. You basically recycle a card from your graveyard back into your deck, and then you can tutor it back up again, or reshuffle your deck, or do something crazy with it, you know? Bladed Bracers. This is kind of an interesting one. So one colorless. It's an equipment. Equips for 2. Equipped creature gets +1/+1. If equipped creature is a human or angel, it gains vigilance. Humans are pretty very predominant in the set. There's also a bunch of angels. Printed at varying rarities, so that's pretty funky. Pretty funky. Oh, speaking of angels, I got a Gasala. Gisela or Gisela, however you want to pronounce it, whether with a soft G or a hard G or whatever, where you want to put the accent, I don't know. I'm leaning towards Gisela at this point, because that sounds better to my mind. Blade of Gold Knight, 4 colors, red, double white, 5/5, flying, first strike. Yeah. Whenever a source deals damage to you or permanent you control, half that damage, rounded up. Whenever damage is dealt to a opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, double that damage. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's nice. What you do with Gisela? Throw a rush of blood on her, where she gets +X+O, where X is her power. Yeah, she's 5/5 flying, first strike. Swing, rush of blood. She's now 10/5 flying, first strike. She deals 10 to you. Oh no, wait, it's doubled. Take 20. Good game. And as I believe the expression, or as I have been known to say it, eat it and tell me it's tasty. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, like I said, I came in dead last with this deck. The only good games I had with this deck were really against Jan, who I faced in game 1. I drew really well. He did okay. Jan complained the whole night that his deck wasn't good. And, like, no, his deck was actually really solid. I mean, he was running 3 miracles in it. Like, I want to say I can't remember if it was 2 green miracles and 1 red miracle, or 2 red miracles and 1 green one. I don't remember. But he did really well during the night. I don't think he lost a single round. I also got a blue miracle. Maybe I should have ran it. I don't know. I'm going to bust out everything else I got out in a second here. Just let me get this all cleared out of the way. As I said, that was in the deck briefly. There's the Moonsilver Spear. That was a promo card given out to everybody. Yay! Hey, look, I got a Tomeo emblem. One of the 2 new planeswalkers in the set is one of the mist folk from Kamigawa. Picked up some of the new basic lands. They printed new basic lands for this set, all well and good. All new art, basically. Other stuff that I considered running in the deck for a while. A Seraph Sanctuary enters the battlefield, gain a life. Whenever an angel enters the battlefield under your control, you gain a life. The land itself taps for colorless. I thought about running it, but I only had 2 angels. Now, granted, I had a few ways to flash them in and out, but I didn't think it was going to come up often enough, so, yeah. Thraben Valiant, it's a 2/1 Vigilance. Would have been better with first strike in my opinion, because, you know, Vigilance doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot with only a 1 toughness. That's just me, I don't know. Scroll of Avacyn's kind of cute. It's a 1 colorless to play. You pay 1 colorless and sack it to draw a card. If you control an angel, gain 5 life. Kind of funky. Devout Chaplain. She's interesting. She's a 2/2. You tap her, and 2 untapped humans you control to exile target artifact or enchantment. That's pretty nice. I'm thinking you're going to see her at least played casually with Liquimetal Coating. Let us be honest, folks. Liquimetal Coating is just a combo-tastic card. You know, it's got really good synergy with a lot of different cards. Peel from Reality, colors blue, return target creature you control and target creature you don't control to their owner's hands. That's a reprint. I want to say from the original Ravnica block, but don't quote me, I'd have to look it up. But I know it's a reprint. Vettergeist, there's another one I thought about running. He's 2 and a blue for a 3/4 flyer. That's a really undercosted flyer. Unfortunately, he has an upkeep cost equal to the number of other creatures you control, so he can theoretically shut you down, you know? So I wasn't certain about him, I decided not to play him. Devastation Tide, 3 and double blue for a sorcery. Return all non-land permanents to owner's hands. Miracle for a colorless and a blue. That is when you draw it. If it's the first card you drew in the turn, you may choose to play it for its miracle cost. It's kind of interesting. Gang of Devils, 5 and a red for a 3/3. When it dies, 3 damage divided as you choose amongst 1, 2, or 3 target creatures and or players. It's interesting. 2 Call to Serve, enchanted creature. It's a creature enchantment. Enchanted creature is +1/+2 flying. and is an angel in addition to its other types. Angels is a pretty favorable tribe in this set, which is funky. The big, and gaining flying. I mean, this is just head and shoulders above holy strength. Put bluntly, it gains flying, and in this set, what is a favorable tribe? So that's nice. Unfortunately, it just wasn't good enough to make the cut in the deck. The Haven Gull Vampire, he's a 2/2. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, he gets a +1/+1 counter. Whenever another creature dies, he gets a +1/+1 counter. The only reason I didn't run him is because he's 4 mana for a 2/2, and that's kind of pricey. The Heirs of Stromkirk I almost ran as well. She's 2 and double red for a 2/2 Intimidate. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, gets a +1/+1 counter. I almost ran that. I thought about it really hard, but I just didn't. I didn't like the double red and the casting cost. A Narsted Scrapper, it's a 3/3 for 5 colors. You can pay 2 colors to give it +1/+0 till end of turn, so it's kind of sort of got fire breathing. It's interesting. I'm thinking in limited that's actually going to be in a draft and sealed deck. Overall, that's going to be a nice filler card. It's not going to be highly picked, but it's going to be a nice filler card. Haunted Guardian, 2/1 defender, first strike. It's interesting. Riot Ringleader. That should not be a tongue twister. I'm sorry. Riot Ringleader. Yeah, I can speak English. I really can. It's a 2/2. Whenever it attacks humans you control, get +1/+0 till end of turn. There we go. Zealous Strike. Instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 and first strike till end of turn. That's interesting. Cathedral Sanctifier. It's a 1/1. Hits the board. Gain 3 life. Whoop-de-doo. Amass the components, draw 3, then put a card from your hand on the bottom of your library for 3 and a blue, and it's a sorcery. I'm not entirely sold on that card, to be perfectly honest. The fact that it's a sorcery and 4 mana both work against it, but it's not necessarily bad. It's not going to see tournament play. Of that, I'm pretty strongly convinced. It's going to see some play in draft and sealed deck. It's probably going to see some play in EDH, not necessarily a lot, but some. It's not going to see competitive play. Of that, I'm reasonably convinced. Crippling Chill, tap target creature. It doesn't untap on its controller's next untap step. Draw a card. It's okay. 2 and a blue in an instance. It's not completely bad. Haven Gull Scab. It's a 4/5. Whenever it attacks, return another creature you controlled to owner's hand. It's kind of interesting. Not sure what I think of it. Geist Snatch, 2 colors and a blue, counter a spell, put a 1/1 blue spirit creature token with flying onto the battlefield. It's kind of interesting. It reminds me of, I can't remember what it was called, but it was during World Wait. I want to say it was during World Wait block. There was something that was for the same mana cost, countered a spell and gave you a 2/2 token illusion creature. This gives you a 1/1 token flyer. They're very similar overall. I'm not sure if I like this over. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's draft playable, but I don't think it's going to see any constructed play. Dreadwaters, 3 colors and blue sorcery. Put the top X cards. Target player puts the top X cards of his or her library into their graveyard, where X is the number of lands you control. I foresee that being a strong card in draft decks, mill decks, and draft. Maybe even an EDH. You never know. The rest of what I picked up. I'm having trouble with R's today, and I don't know why. A Rot Crown Ghoul. It's 5 mana for a 3/3. It dies. Target player puts the top 5 cards of their library into graveyard. Whoop-de-doo. Favorable Winds. It's a color and a blue for each champion that gives creatures you control with flying +1/+1. It's okay. The creatures on it are supposed to be GIF. They're apparently horses with the wings and heads of and tails of herons. The favored creature of Avacyn. But whatever. I think they look stupid. That's my opinion. I really think those things look stupid. But I suppose there are some people who feel the exact same way about things like griffins and hippogriffs and manticores and stuff like that. So, hey, you know, take my opinion with the prerequisite grain of salt, right, folks? Wingcrafter, it's a 1/1 for blue. It's soul bonds for flying. Spiffy. Soul Cage Fiend. He's kind of interesting. I got some funky black hanging around here. Colorless double black for a 3/2. When he dies, each player loses 3 life. I could easily see that going into like into a suicide black build. I got 2 of them. Yay. Deathwind. X black instant. Target creature gets neg X till end of turn. Hey, you know what? That kills indestructible creatures like, you know, Avacyn. Polluted Dead, he's a 3/3 for 5 mana. When he hits the graveyard, well, when he dies, nuke a land. Yeah, not sold on it. Butchered Ghouls, a colorless and a black for a 1/1 undying. Not sold on it. Undead Executioner, he's a 2/2 for 3 and a black. When he dies, you may have target creature get neg2 till end of turn. Not sold on it. Homicidal Seclusion, 4 colors and a black. As long as you control exactly 1 creature, that creature gets +3/+1 in lifelink. Oh, let me tell you something. There's a card that's the story of my life, right? Homicidal Seclusion. Ah, leave me alone. But, story, day, another, yeah. Grave Exchange. This is a weird one. 4 and double black. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Target player sacrifices a creature. That's interesting. It's 4 and double black, though. It's 6 mana for that effect. But you recur a creature from your graveyard and make your opponent sack a creature. That can work interesting. I don't see that making constructed, but whatever. Necrobite. Here's an interesting one. 2 and a black instant. Target creature gains death touch till end of turn, regenerating. Yeah, that's pretty nice. That's kind of nice. Crypt Keeper, it's a 2/1 for colors and a black. Sacrifice it to exile target card from a graveyard. Meh. I'm not sold on it. Human Frailty, a single black for an instant, destroy target human. That's interesting. It's going to see limited play. I don't know if it's going to see constructed play. I mean, it's cheap for what it does. I think it's probably more of a sideboard card, if that. That's just my opinion. I don't know. Battle Hymn! Instant, colors and a red. Add red to your mana pool for each creature you control. And I'm like, all I can think of is like, yeah, that's, I believe there was a similar card in red that did it for goblins many years back. I want to say back in Onslaught Luck, I think it was. And, yeah, that can get redonkulous. Lightning Mauler, colors and a red, 2/1, soul bonds for haste. Uncanny Speed, colors and a red, instant, creature gets +3/+0 in haste. It'd be more useful if it's first strike instead of haste, but maybe that's just me, I don't know. Banners Raised, it's an instant, creatures you control get +1/+0 till end of turn. Meh. Green. Now here's the thing: is this whole stack right here is green cards, or what's left of it. And this makes me think maybe I should have gone green. I don't know. It wouldn't be the first time that in a pre-release I just didn't go green when maybe I should have. I vividly recall back in the Onslaught pre-release, I went to a midnight pre-release, and I did okay with what I got, but I didn't really do well either. And afterwards, people looked over my card pool and like, you really should have played green, because I had Sylvos Rogue Elemental, who was like redonkulous big with regeneration. And, you know, looking over it after the fact, I'm like, yeah, you know, you're probably right. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm not big on playing green, you know. What can I say? I don't know if that's just me or not. But whatevs. I did get some cute cards in green. I got Wild Defiance, 2 and a green. Enchantment. Whenever a creature you control becomes the target of an instant or sorcery, that creature gets +3/+3 till end of turn. 2 Sheltering Words. Target creature gains hexproof till end of turn. Gain life equal to that creature's toughness. Interesting. 2 Groundeds. Enchanted creature loses flying. Triumph of Ferocity. 2 colors and a green. Enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card if you control the creature with highest power or tied for highest power on the field. That's nice. Druid's Repository, I'm not really sold on. It's colorless and double green. Whenever a creature you control attacks, put a charge counter on it. Remove a charge counter for 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. I'm not sold on it. Howlgeist, 5 and a green for a 4/2. Creatures with power less than his own can't block him, and he's got Undying. Yay. I had 2 Layer Delves, 2 colors and a green, sorcery, reveal the top 2 cards of your library, put all creatures and lands revealed this way into your hand, the rest on the bottom of your library in order of choice. Nettle Swan, he's a 4/3 for 3 and a green. He's not bad, he's pretty serviceable. A Crater Hoof Behemoth. He's a 5/5 haste, 5 colors and triple green. When he enters the battlefield, creatures you control get trample and +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. So at the very least, the turn you play him, he's a 6/5 haste trample. I don't know. Like I said, I mean, he's not bad. He really isn't. I mean, he's 8 mana though is a lot. I have to say that, and triple green. Joint Assault. Target creature gets +2/+2. Until end of turn. If it's paired with a creature, that creature also gets +2/+2. Those are kind of funky. Geist Trappers, it's a 3/5. Soul Bonds for Reach. It's kind of interesting. I want to make a custom proxy of that card that replaces the picture with the Ghostbusters. Yeah. Druid's Familiar, 2/2. Soul Bonds for +2/+2. It's not bad. Diagraph Escort, 1/1, Soul Bonds for Pro Zombies. And a Nightshade Peddler, 1/1, Soul Bonds for Death Touch. I don't know, maybe I should have gone green, maybe I shouldn't have, I don't know. I really don't. I'll be perfectly honest, you know, the Red-White Angel was just too tempting to not play, you know? I mean, look at her, she's so pretty! And she's Boros colors. Yeah. I've been playing Red-White together for a long, long time, since like the mid-90s. So I'm kind of partial to that color combination myself. When the Boros came along in the original Ravnica block, I thought it was awesome. It's like, dude, we're seeing a bunch of Red-White cards. That's awesome. And this fall there will be a return to Ravnica. It's already been confirmed. Yeah. Oh, I miss Ravnica. I don't know if I've said it before in these videos or not, but Return to Ravnica, I am a little bit worried about it, because as much as a Return to Ravnica would be stupid easy to get right, it would also be stupid easy to get wrong. So we'll see which way Wizards goes with being stupid, right? Jeez. All right, I'm gonna call this video done. Get it wrapped up. I'm not, I still haven't decided if I'm going to merge this with my draft video from this week. Maybe I'll put them up separate, maybe they haven't. If this is the first video of mine you've ever seen, yes, I draft a lot. I have a huge series of draft videos up on YouTube that you can look at. Also on my channel is the 200 episode long series of me organizing my Magic collection. Yes, it took me that long. Yeah. Whew, that was rough. That was rough. It was a labor of love. It was a lot of things. Blah, 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 blah. So anyways, yeah, be good, stay safe, etc., etc. Happy drafting, happy gaming, blah, 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 blah. I'll catch you whenever the next time I catch you is, folks. Be good.